Aloha, my name is Brady Barrows and I wrote Rosacea 101, which is a 373-page comprehensive book on rosacea discussing conventional alternative treatments for rosacea. Today I want to talk about acne rosacea. Now, why is that important? Well, let me tell you a quote that I found interesting by Dr. Kligman, he's Albert Kligman, a noted rosacea authority. He wrote a document called A Personal Critique on the State of Knowledge of Rosacea. And notice what he said about acne rosacea. Quote, "It's interesting that the original term for rosacea was acne rosacea, which has more features in common with acne than currently realized. If the acne portion had been retained in the later works, rosacea might have received much greater investigative attention." And he was talking about how rosacea research is really wanting. There's not enough. And he criticizes the current rosacea research in that article. So it's true. Originally, this term, acne rosacea, was used to differentiate between acne. But after a while, it's been frowned upon to use that term in the medical community because they want to differentiate between acne and rosacea. Why? Well, acne is another skin condition. It's actually, acne is not a disease. It's acne vulgaris is the name of the disease. And so how do you determine the difference between acne and rosacea? Well, it's very difficult. But I've listed in my book, it's on pages 2 and 3, the differences between the differential diagnosis between acne and rosacea. The first item that usually comes up in all the medical papers is that rosacea does not usually present itself with blackheads. Okay? And you notice the term usually? Just remember that. That's how all these medical papers read. It's usually, most of the time, things like that. Okay, number 2. Acne usually presents itself with the plugging of the ducts and of the oil glands, resulting in blackheads and pimples on the face, and sometimes also the back, the shoulders, or the chest. Rosacea seems to be linked to the vascular network of the central facial skin and causes redness, bumps, pimples, and other symptoms that rarely goes beyond the face. However, sometimes rosacea does get in these same body parts, the neck, the chest, the back. So, but rarely does this happen with rosacea. So that's the second differential diagnosis that a physician considers. The third one, the age of onset and the location of redness is a clue. Rosacea is commonly an adult disease. Sometimes it's called adult acne, in fact, in some medical papers, and is generally restricted to the nose, cheeks, chin, and forehead. However, young ones have been diagnosed with rosacea. Also, one report said, quote, "It indicated that some people who have rosacea do not have it on their face at all, but rather on their back or elsewhere," which adds to the confusion. But generally speaking, rosacea is confined to the face. Number 4. Rosacea is usually accompanied with frequent flushing and a persistent redness, while acne vulgaris usually doesn't present itself with flushing. However, it's to be noted that not all rosaceans report frequent flushing, and they flush no more than the general population. The fifth item to consider in a differential diagnosis is acne treatments tend to aggravate rosacea and that leads to the diagnosis of rosacea. So generally speaking, like benzoyl acid, salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide, a lot of these, I list them all in my book, that are for acne. When you use them, it aggravates the rosacea. So then the differential diagnosis is, oh, well, you must have rosacea, because you can't use acne products for rosacea, generally speaking. Okay, number 6. This is growing to be one of the differential diagnoses that's the most important. Eye symptoms are not associated with acne. So a careful examination for eye symptoms or a finding of ocular pathology will help confirm the diagnosis of rosacea. 50% of rosaceans have ocular rosacea, and some doctors feel that this is really the key, but in differential diagnosis, you have problems in your eyes. Usually rosaceans report gritty eyes, and it's not uncommon. And then number 7, unlike acne, rosacea is not driven forward by Propionibacterium and subsequently should not be treated using acne medications. However, to add more confusion, there is a theory that Propionibacterium acnes may be a potential aggravating factor in rosacea. So that gets into what causes rosacea. So there you go. There's 7 differential diagnosis keys to differentiate between acne and rosacea. And to add to this confusion, you may have acne vulgaris at the same time that you have rosacea. Now that's a problem that we have to figure out what to do about, because acne products tend to aggravate the rosacea, but yet we need to do something about the acne. So what can we do about all this? Well, what I suggest, of course, is that you buy my book. I've done a lot of research on this. It's all in one book, 373 pages, and it is all in one place to read. And you can read it on the beach, you can read it in the park, you can read it wherever you want, in your bedroom. And you don't have to be tied to the internet looking at all those links. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, and please buy my book. Aloha.